This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sean Preston.
Welcome to another episode of the Good Neighbor Podcast. Today we have another good neighbor on the show, and that is Peter Hayek of Bosscon Group. What's going on, brother?
Living the dream. Make sure I make time today to come and attend this podcast because I know it's valuable to me as well, and I'd like to reach out to this community. I've been in Barrie for about 4 years now, so most of my business was, in Toronto and the GTA, but I'm more focusing on Barrie and the surrounding area right now, and this is a good opportunity for me to be recognized and meet new people.
Wonderful. Well, super happy to have you on and help you spread your message of being a local community member of ours and a part of our business community. So before we get into it, Halloween's right around the corner. We're a couple days away. Some people are fans. Some people have kids. We're about to find out some of that stuff in this show together. So What's the plan for Halloween?
I have a newborn, so I don't have any plans.
Very cool, man. Well, we'll dive into that as we get in a little bit later to the show. For now, I'm sure people are chomping at the bit. They want to learn a little bit more about you. So why don't we dive into it? Why don't you tell us a little bit about your business?
So my business is obviously in the name, it's general contracting. We do all kinds of jobs, small jobs, big jobs, medium jobs, doesn't matter. We like to take on everything to build that connection and a long-lasting relationship with the clients, which is what we strive on. And this is kind of our mission and our motto. So our motto is design, build, and satisfy. So it's all three are as important, to each other. It speaks for itself, design phase to the final touch and to everlasting relationships, hopefully. And, always happy to do more work with the same person or get referred by them to their friends and families.
Very cool, man. Well, I want to ask you a question. It's not necessarily in the list that you have. So it might be a curveball for you, but I feel like
I'm improvising everything. I didn't write down any answers.
Beautiful, man. I love going off the cuff. It just makes it more genuine and a real thing.
For sure.
We've had a couple contractors on. I've had my own experiences with, you have friends and family, circles of influence, you have conversations with. It's not unknown or uncommon. And this is certainly not something I'm suggesting for your business, but just more of a topic of discussion, right? That when it comes to, the trades and contractors and stuff like that, it seems like communication is one of the biggest things. You've probably heard your own horror stories out there from people you've helped and might have had a bad experience and things that, guests on the show, people listening and including myself and our circles have heard that once or twice before. On the end, what do you guys think about that, just generally, in the business, and what do you guys do in terms of your steps to really make sure that client gets that level of communication? Obviously, it's in your slogan, that satisfaction component to it.
That's right. So communication starts from the first point of contact, obviously, and it's very important to have an honest relationship from the start. And what I've been noticing is there's a lot of I hate to put a lot of people in the forefront, but dishonest people. And that's kind of a misconception general contractors have, which is why I find that a lot of homeowners are resorting to kind of mitigating everything on their own at this point and trying to shy away from general contractors. So communication is, like I said, it starts from the beginning. You have to be an open book. You have to be honest. What a lot of people are doing is they're basically lying off the bat. So they'll say, yeah, we can do it for this much. We can do this kind of work. We'll get you this kind of material. And then, they start the job. Halfway through the job, they demo and everything. By the way, we ran across this, or this is not something we talked about. We need to add some more money to kind of continue working on this job. I see a lot of that happening, especially in this economy right now. And that's something that had to do with communication from the start, and it's the responsibility of both parties at this point, not just the contractor.
Right.
When you get a price, right, and it's a little bit low, you should question it, absolutely. A lot of times also people will take on a job, and then there is no communication at all between the client and the contractor, and they'll start doing their own thing, and then job's done, client comes like, oh, that's not what I asked for. Oh, this is, you didn't tell me about this, or you didn't tell me about that. Well, it doesn't work like that. You have to maintain point of contact throughout the whole project. Have some either every couple of days have an update, or have a weekly update, depending on the scale of the job. Go back and forth, feel them out, see what they want, right? See what they expect. You have to be clear from the beginning, and that goes again to both parties. And that's part of communication, where you have to be clear and straight to the point, and always question, right? Both parties should always question, because the more you question, the more you get to know each other, the more a contractor knows the client, and the more the client assesses his risk of hiring that contractor, right? So,
what would be like one or two general questions? Like, I haven't done it in a while, so like that was myself. I just off the top of my head, I'm struggling to find one or two questions that I would ask. What would you recommend there?
Honestly, like what I would ask is, have you stayed on budget before, or have you completed the project at the right timeline that you have promised? Have you have any references, right? That's a good one. Because social media can be deceiving too, right? You can post images that are maybe not your work or someone else's work. Who has full control over these things? Nobody. So what's the best thing to do is get references from people who are familiar with your work, who have dealt with you before. Or are you flexible with us deciding on what type of finishes? Are you patient, to withstand us, because we like to change our mind sometimes, or we kind of bounce back on certain decisions, or, these things also affect the relationship throughout the job, because sometimes people are not patient. If I have somebody tell me, oh, I want this color, and then they're like 2 days later, you know what? No, I changed my mind. I want this color. Some people, but you know what? You picked this color already. Stick to it. I can't change it. I already bought the paint. Things like that. It's those little tiny things that make a difference with your communication and your relationship, right? Which is why I said from the start, both parties have to be transparent with each other and know what to expect from each other. That's it.
Beautiful. Well said. Let's dive into a little bit. I mean, talk about contracting. It can be a broad term. Mm-hmm. And, we think of things that come top of mind. Okay, bathroom renovation, mm-hmm. basement renovation, kitchen renovation. Yeah. Let's maybe open it up a little bit. And I mean, you guys do a lot, right? But if I'm listening to the show, maybe something I never thought about, what would be some other things that you guys would tackle when it comes, like, do you build new homes?
Yes, we do. We do build new homes. We do additions. We do commercial work. We do institutional work, residential work. Any, like you said, bathroom rental, kitchen rental, main floor rental, basement rental, legal basement apartments, restaurants, plazas.
That's quite a broad scope, my man. Very cool.
Yeah.
So, like, when it comes to building things, I'm not an expert when it comes to this. You would be, you do it for a living. How long have you been doing this for? I would just imagine like building a home or doing a home reno certainly has got to be different from institutional work all the way to the commercial side of things. They're just different materials doing different things. Where do you accumulate that knowledge base to be able to get good at doing all facets, or almost call it like the jack of all trades? That's not something that just happens overnight,
No, it doesn't. And like I've been doing rentals and stuff since I was 15 as a summer job. That's when I came to Canada at the age of 15. That was in 2005. Prior to that, I was a kid back home. I used to collect scraps from construction sites and kind of build something of my own with my friends, and we used to hang out in there and stuff like that. So I've always liked to put things together. So when I came to Canada as a summer job, I worked with a contractor. We did residential renovations, and then I went to college for business. I worked in the corporate field, but I wasn't satisfied 100%. I always wanted to build stuff and work with my hands. So I ended up doing electrical work. I became an electrician. But before I became an electrician, I was also still doing rentals. So the thing where I learned about commercial work was through my electrical career. So seeing how things were done in the commercial sense, I learned it as an electrician. But me being me, when I'm doing something, I'm not focusing on that one thing. I'm watching everything else. And I'm learning from everybody, and I'm talking to everybody, to the foreman of the site super, the foreman for the drywallers, the framers, I'm gaining all my knowledge and, building all my knowledge. And basically I got to the point where I knew what needs to be done. I'm familiar with the code book. I'm familiar with the building code. I'm familiar with basically commercial work, residential work, institutional work. So I wasn't afraid to basically take on all of these things because I do have the experience and the knowledge. So when I shifted from just electrical to a general contractor, I started taking on all kinds of jobs, and I love doing different things. It keeps things interesting. It keeps my brain going. And yeah, so that's basically how I got to know all these different criterias.
Nice. That's the second question we always ask is what's your journey? You pretty much outlined it. Where's back home?
Lebanon.
In Lebanon. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. You got a lot of family back there? Do you have a bunch come here? Are they scattered all over the place?
We're scattered all over the place. I only have some aunts and uncles and cousins there, but also a lot of cousins and aunts and uncles in Europe. Not much here. It's just me, my sisters, and my parents and our families. But that's about it for here.
Okay. And for those who are on video, they can see. For me, or for those who are just listening on audio, they won't be able to see. But you have a bookshelf behind you with a bunch of books in it.
Yeah.
So, what are those? Are they fictional, non-fictional, educational stuff, self-help books?
It's historical, political, educational, and yeah, that's basically it.
So safe to say that your
economics,
your ability to retain knowledge, right? I'm street smart. I can tell you're street smart as well too. Takes one to know one.
Yeah.
Right. But your ability to retain that knowledge, and then obviously you have a theoretical learning component too, because you also read books.
Yeah, I try. Whatever time I have.
Well, and a degree in business. I mean, I've heard it countless times. Anybody can pick up a hammer and get out there and do it. The chuck in the truck, so to speak, right? But also knowing that somebody's got a degree in business. I mean, that speaks volumes to people saying like, he put himself through school, good business operators who also are street smart can learn the thing. That's a pretty powerful thing.
Yeah, thank you.
So you talked a little bit about misconceptions. Let's get into that a little bit. You had mentioned, the misconception around people and having that prejudging notion. Let's open this on a table of discussion. Are there any other misconceptions you get? I'm sure there's probably a few in construction.
Yeah, there are misconceptions. One of the things I mentioned based on our earlier conversation was that people are not hiring. They tend to try to avoid the contractor because they feel like a contractor is a middleman, and the homeowner can basically take care of all the trades that he wants to bring and do some work on his own. But what we're seeing is things are being done improperly, unfortunately. it's very important to have a general contractor, one, because they're knowledgeable in their field. They have their specific trades that they work with and that they've been working with for a very long time, right? And they trust their work and their ethics. And that's basically the biggest misconception right now. The other misconception is, oh, they charge a lot. No, we don't. we charge whatever the job is worth. I'm not building a castle from these jobs. The other misconception is, and I feel like it was built since COVID, that they're scammers, because a lot of what was going on during COVID, it was very busy for everybody. Like,
oh yeah,
it was our busiest times, right? And a lot of people were putting down deposits with contractors, and they were never seeing them again. So it was basically a period of time where it gave contractors a bad name. However, at this point of time, everybody was becoming a contractor. So you had a real estate agent who's now a contractor, a doctor who's now a contractor. You had a chef who's now a contractor because they couldn't get to their full-time work because they were on lockdown. So like, you know what? Contracting is an essential business. So they can't be doctors and nurses, so they can't be contractors, right?
Right.
But it still created a bitter taste in a lot of people's mouths, right? And it ruined the reputation for a lot of other people. So those are misconceptions, I think, that are the most common in terms of we don't need a contractor, we don't need a middleman, and contractors are scammers. I think that's the biggest misconception people have. And also another misconception is like, oh, contractors don't work, they just hire people. That's not true. I do a lot of the stuff myself, right? I do framing, I do drywalling, I do electrical, I don't do plumbing and HVAC. I do tiling, I do some flooring if my knees allow me to. I do painting, I do a lot of the work myself and like my team, right? So we don't always outsource if we don't need to. So yeah, that's another misconception.
Oh yeah, that way you can control the quality of your work, and then obviously having your strategic partnerships with.
Exactly. Like it's an already established. It's like you're going to McDonald's, you're getting a Big Mac. You go to every McDonald's, it's the same Big Mac, right? The quality control, the ingredients, the consistency, it's all there. So when you want to do some work in your house is your investment. Why would you take any chance and do it yourself if you don't know what you're doing, or if you're watching a YouTube video? Hire a professional. You're going to get that consistency. You're going to get that quality. You're going to get a different input from what you had, recommendations, and from design to structural to whatever it is. Some things can really boost the value of your home if you know if you hire the right person and they can advise you on what to do and which route to take. This is your life investment, right? You want to sell it and maximize your profit to either go retire in Spain or, go buy another property. I don't know.
Well, especially too, like if, there's unforeseen events that happen, or there's a process typically for how things are done the right way, and
exactly
those processes down, you run into not doing it the right way.
Yeah, you run into a lot of homeowner specials, I'll tell you that much. So imagine a homeowner running into a homeowner special. Now you're going to have a double homeowner special.
Yeah, right. Well, it's always good to clear the air with some of this stuff, right? Being able to educate people. I mean, education, knowledge is power.
Yeah, exactly. Like everybody has to, like I said, with the communication, it's a two-way street. It's also a two-way street for researching your contractor and also understanding your client, right? It's very important to do research on who you're hiring. And like I said, you can always get references, Google reviews, all sorts of things to solidify your decision in hiring that contractor.
100%. So business owners, when we get into business, we're so passionate about what we do. So work doesn't necessarily tend to feel like work because it's something that we thoroughly enjoy. Yeah, exactly. Right. And we can tend to work a little bit more than we'd like to, or having that balance, because it's not really a balance. At the end of the day, balance means all things equal.
Yeah.
So Jeff and I have come up with this theory, more from Jeff. I learned this from Jeff. The harmony between the both, right? Singing that tune at the right note that just works well, so that you can have the harmony between work and play.
Yes.
In your personal time. So when Peter is not working on or in his business, what does he like to do for fun?
What do I like to do for fun now? I like to get home and spend time with my newborn.
Nice.
Honestly, it's a life-changing experience. Being a father is a whole nother career itself, but it's another worldly thing. I can't even describe. I can't wait to come and hold him, you know. And at night he'll sleep on my chest, and then just feel like I'm flying in space or something. You know, it's the best feeling ever. Before that, I used to golf, and I like to host a lot of friends.
Nice.
When I can. Have a nice barbecue, have a nice dip in the pool, and that's summertime, though. You know. Other than that, it's just really spending time with family, friends, reading books. I used to love playing video games when I was younger, so now it's like, if I get that half an hour, I'll try to play a video game.
I love it.
You know, but like you said, business owners, we tend to work more than we would like, right? You know, people think when you work for a company, you're working hard for a company, but when you're the company, you're working harder than everybody else in your company, right? Because you're 24/7 at that point. But it's interesting you said the work-life balance, the harmony. I did have something happen to me a couple of years ago. So I got married in 2022. I had my wedding. I went on my honeymoon. I came back, and we got into a car accident in Barrie on Fairview Drive going towards ESSA. And we got T-boned really hard. So totaled the car. I was out of commission, so I couldn't work for maybe a year and a half plus. So, yeah, to me, I was in pain, but I was also suffering more because I couldn't work. That was the worst thing that can happen to me. So I during that time, I was talking to myself about, you know, when I start working again, I'm going to have a work-life balance, because now I'm playing more video games. Now I'm spending more time with my wife. So when I start working again, I want to try to find that harmony. I'm back working. Forget about harmony.
So that shit takes over, doesn't it?
Forget about it. This is what I love to do. This is my harmony. I have no complaints about working a lot. My wife complains, but not me. But yeah, like, no, I love what I do. It's my passion. It's something I've always wanted to do. And hopefully I'll do this till the last day I die.
Very cool, man. Yeah, you seem like my kind of guy. I think we have a lot of similarities, me and you. Jeff's the book guy, so he would definitely be picking your brain about that. We both golf. So at some point when things settle down for you, that might have to be on the docket for us to get out for a game of golf. And then, of course, you had to mention the word video game to me. So I find my balance a thing that recharges me. I have 3 close friends. I've got a total of 5. The 6 of us, and met them at different stages in my life. Jeff is one of them. Most recently added to my inner circle, but the other, the core 4, I call them. We grew up together, but we grew up together at a distance. So some of them were 2 of them are brothers, the neighbors of mine. Yeah. We grew up together, but I only got to see them because their mother lived in Florida, and their father was our neighbor. And so I would see the boys come every summer, and then every second winter that they would come up. And when they came up, we'd be just attached at the hip for that entire duration that they were there, and had some great memories. And of course, our parents were pretty close friends. They socialized together and stuff like that. So as the times progressed, The younger brother, Michael, has a best friend. They met in like grade 2. His name is Michael. That guy ended up being my best man at my wedding.
Nice.
So really, really, really tight. And then I played hockey, met a guy golfing. He's a couple of years younger than me. His name's Brody. And then he invited me out to hockey. I was looking for a team to play for. And then we got really close. He plays video games. And so we have our Tuesday nights. We just get together and we all have a voice. It's called Discord. So we all get to just hop on. And it's not as much as playing the video games as it is just being in there, hanging out with them. And then, of course, we have our group chat so we can stay in touch. And we try to see each other at least twice a year. Sometimes, if we're lucky, 3. And the longest we've ever gone was just after COVID, where we didn't see each other for 2 years.
Oh, man.
That's the longest stretch. So, hosting and cooking, Julie and I love doing that stuff. Socializing with friends, family, super important to me.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Always the best.
Yeah, 100% for those who are fortunate enough, hold that near and dear. So tell me a little bit more about, is it a boy? Is it a girl?
It's a boy.
It's a boy. Nice.
It's what I was aiming for. My wife wanted a girl.
I want to be a dad. I am a dad. And
nice.
Julie has an 18-year-old daughter. So learning the ropes and learning that obviously at a different age. Starting at 17 now she's 18. It's a different phases. So I'll be a pro, by the time ours get to 17, 18, but she's a good kid.
Especially the teenage years, if you went through them, you're okay.
Yeah. So lucky from that standpoint, but certainly on the docket to want to have kids of our own and go through the experience that you're going through. Yeah. Jeff holds that in a super high regard. One of the best, titles, positions, things that a man can really do is be a dad, whether it's to a little girl, to a little boy, and have them grow up and help them along the way in that path through life, all that fun stuff. It just excites me. I'm super happy, you're getting to walk that journey, as I know I want to walk it one day.
You will. You'll be a great dad, I'm sure.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Okay. So you touched on something pretty serious, that happened in your life and in being involved in that car accident. We always like to ask this question. People connect with people on a different levels, but one of them obviously is through vulnerability and nobody knows, like, you leave your house every day and everybody puts up the shield. I call it the shield. It's that facade. It's that invisible barrier. We guard ourselves from others and we go out there, people do human being stuff and we do our thing day in and day out. And it's not until you have conversations with, your significant other, your brother, your family members, closest friends, that, you'll bring that guard down and be open to being vulnerable. So the closest people that you trust. And so we ask on the show, have you ever experienced a hardship, a life challenge, something you overcame, pulled some silver linings from it? How'd you overcome it? Would that car accident be that for you? Or was there something else that happened in your life?
I think so, yeah, because it did change my life drastically. I'm still feeling the effects of it. I'm not going to lie. I'll still get, backaches, headaches, migraines, shoulder pains, knee pain. So it's still a stick in my wheel, if I must say, and it was a life-changing event for sure, because I've never had a time in my life where I wasn't able to work. I've always been a hard worker, and I've always wanted to wake up in the morning and head to do my job. It was very tough mentally for me because of that. I think that was the biggest factor of how tough it was for me, besides the physical pain. But, I built my business. I was in business for about 7 years at the time, or 8 years, incorporated. And, I was very busy. I had my clientele, just keep going up and up and up and up. And then all of a sudden, boom, I'm frozen. I get calls, oh, can you do this job? Unfortunately, I can't, because I'm the type of guy that has to be there. I'm not the one who who will take the job and hire somebody else to do it, because I don't have full control over, people if I'm not there. Right. So
And it's your name and reputation on the line if you're taking the job.
Exactly. So I'd rather not take on the job and salvage my reputation, especially the clientele. Those are repeat clients, right? I do a job and then they'll call me for another one, or they'll refer their friend. And I don't want to ruin my reputation because I couldn't be there. The guys I have are tradespeople, right? So they'll do a specific trade and go, but I have nobody who can replace me as the contractor and the site supervisor to oversee the quality of work and what's really going on, right? So if I wasn't there, I didn't feel comfortable letting the situation go the way it is. So I had to push the brakes and pause. And once I got better after treatments and all that, and I was able to get back to work. So what happened was, a year after my accident, I was just starting to get better. And then I had another accident.
What? Another one?
Another one. So the first one was August 22nd, 2022. And the second was August 12th, 2023.
Wow.
Yeah, just almost exactly a year apart. So that put me right back. As soon as I was ready to start getting back to work, that happened. So it put me right back, getting treatments. Couldn't physically, work the way I would like to. So they upped my treatments now because I had 2 accidents. So they're like, okay, you can go for more treatments, which helped me a lot. And I was going twice a week doing physio, chiro, massage, all that stuff. And they even signed me up for hot yoga. Not a big fan. It did help a bit, though, I'm not going to lie. And so I got better again, and then I got back into business, right? And I started re-promoting my company. I started a social media account because I didn't have one before. I was too busy with, job after job after job, referral after referral after referral after referral. And being new to Barrie and being wanting to focus in this area and north of Barrie, I needed new clientele. So I had to start a social media page. I'm still not as active as I'd like to be because I'm not the one really running it. It's my wife. Because I have no time. I'll take pictures. She'll bother me all day. Take pictures. I'm like, I'm working. Just take a picture. I'm like, okay, think and send.
It's good that you got her to help support you in those areas. It's not uncommon. Everybody's busy doing certain things. They got their priorities, and clients and customer service, it always comes first. And when you're really busy doing a lot of that stuff, there's not a lot of time left in the day for some of those other things, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like, maybe I don't have pictures of 75% of my jobs.
Get your wife to keep bugging you, get those pictures.
Oh yeah. No, she does. But when you're in the zone and you're working, you're in the zone, right? And I know I'm young, but like these things, I hate them. I'm not good friends with these things. Everybody's on their phone, walking on the street like this, or driving, or like, come on.
Yeah. Well, I just had a podcast with a guest earlier today, and the polar opposite. I'm addicted. I can't get off of it. And she actually asked me for advice on, some things that she could take in to try to get off the phone. So we had a little chat about that. But I'm kind of like you. I mean, I use the phone for what I need, and I'll get text messages during the day. Hey, did you see that social post? No, I'm busy doing other things. And then when I'm done being a business owner for the day and dealing with personal things in between that and managing, everyone's life's got chaotic elements to it, and holding it all together. It's like, I'm putting the phone down for the night, and I'm just trying to disconnect the best I can, because tomorrow we're going right back at it, right? So exactly. What's one thing that you wish our listeners knew about your business?
We do all kinds of work. Don't hesitate to reach out for anything. We're very trustworthy. We're generous. We pay attention to details. We're meticulous, and it's going to be a good experience. We become like a family at the end of the job. So don't hesitate to give us a call. We'll be more than happy to meet with you and quote you on your next project, and hopefully we'll be the team that you choose to go with.
Love it. Yeah. I mean, when somebody's going to reach out, you said, hey, just call us. There's a component. I want to ask you, like, what does that look like? Is that kind of like somebody reaches out and then you'll go through like a 30-minute consultation with them and go through the motions to see what the scope of the job is? What are they looking to accomplish, recommendations, and then go through your process? That's how it works.
Yeah. So usually when someone reaches out to us, we just have a brief call, and I'd rather do everything in person. I'm that type of guy.
Same.
So I'll get your address. I'll get a good time to meet you, and I'll head there and basically see what you need to get done, talk about it, see how we can do things better if need be. And go from there.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And for those who are interested, so I'm sure there's probably a few listeners that'll be interested and want to learn a little bit more about you. Maybe they want to reach out to you. What would be one of the best ways that they can go ahead and do that?
You can reach out to us. If you Google our company name, you'll find our profile there. It'll have our email, our phone number, our website. And basically, we have also a lot of images of the stuff we do on Google under our business page. You can also find us on social media like Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is bosscon.group. Obviously, we'll have images there. And and always best way to reach us is through phone call or email.
Wonderful, man. Awesome conversation. Super happy to be a part of this one. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys hosted me, and it was nice to meet you.
Pleasure's all mine. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Midhurst. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpmidhurst.com. That's gnpmidhurst.com or call 705-413-3775.